All right, so let's get right into it. You know what this video is. You basically get 7 minutes to ask me a question. I will then go ahead and attempt to answer it. I don't have all your legal information. I don't have your entire claim file. So I do my best job to kind of wiggle waggle. You can't rely on it to the 100%. Now, bottom line is this. No story mode. Use a fake name when you call in. Also, have your legal question right up front. The way it works is you call the 407-279-1754 phone number. We've already got the first caller. Here we go. All right. Speaker is on. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question? Go ahead.
Hi. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Yeah.
Real quick, I'm on SSDI. My son is 34 years old. He's on SSI.
Mhm.
He actually makes a little more than me because he gets another stipend because of me.
Mhm.
If he moves in with me, will he get his benefits cut? Because I'm his parent.
He has to pay for the SSI situation at least, I forget the exact number. I think it was like $335, but keep it around $350 to the owner of the property is, or if he has a secondary lease contract. Well, you're the owner, right?
Yes, I own my own home.
Okay, so then he has to pay to you rent. Otherwise, they're going to reduce his SSI benefits and cause a cutback in that. As for the auxiliary benefits that he has, I'm not sure exactly what type. Well, he wouldn't have. He gets it's a state supplement, or what is it?
I believe it's state because he is on SSI under my Social Security number. I tried to ask if that could not be done, but they still did it.
Okay. So, so if it's state-based, just to be clear, you'd have to see what benefit he's getting, what options there are, stuff like that. But I'm not sure what state, not sure what program he's on, but bottom line is for the SSI, he's got to sign a contract with you that he's going to pay, and then he actually has to show that he pays $350 a month, basically in rent.
Okay, will that open him or I up for more CDRs? I just went through one.
I mean, everybody's going through CDRs right now, so I wouldn't approach it as, it's something that's happening to a lot of people. Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thank you so much. You help us so much.
Absolutely, madam. You have a wonderful, wonderful day, okay?
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Perfect. We're going to take the next caller now. Let's see what pops up. Hold on. Let's see. Also, I just wanted to say howdy to everybody, and thank you for being a part of the channel. We have the next person right here. Let's get it rolling. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question? Go ahead.
Hi, Mr. Hnot. My name's Tony. We spoke recently. I had an issue. I got a proof SSDI back in July of last year. And I found out after checking, there's an app I can check my medical records. That the doctor in September stated I wasn't taking my pills, which is false. In December, I read that he stated on my medication list, note the pharmacist, partial refill per patient request, which is false. And then the $1 million one on the musculoskeleton, when I saw him in January, which was my annual physical, which was pre-scheduled, obviously, he put no chronic pain, no tingling, no nothing. There's nothing wrong with me. And I confronted him with it because I knew I have a new, since I got approved, I have new conditions. My upper spine now has degeneration, stenosis, and now my legs are going numb.
Okay.
And when I saw him I just had an MRI. When I saw him my legs going numb is when I says, hey, I was looking at my medical record. Why does it say this here? And he says, oh, that was a mistake. And says he changed it. So I got home the following day and I called him. I said, it's not changed. That's when he admitted, well, I cannot change it. It's part of a medical record. But I made an addendum underneath on the bottom. He said he added back pain, chronic. So obviously I need to find another doctor. Should I make a big stance about, should I complain to some organization about what he's done, since it's a blatant lie of what he put on my record?
Well, no, what you get is,
should I just let it go and just find new doctors?
You basically get him to put a note in the record, and then if you can get a physician statement that basically outlines what's actually going on with you, and they can put in there was an error made in his record. So think of it like a letter. The other thing you can get from him is an RFC, a residual functional capacity form that outlines how you're limited. He screwed up. He'll probably be willing to go ahead and create one of those for you. So, I mean, there's a lot of things you can do, but you definitely want to have. Now, how long have you been seeing this guy?
He's my primary. I've been seeing him for over 20 years. He diagnosed me with degenerative disc disease 10 years ago. And I've been, for the past 5 years, once a year, I would get some real bad pain, and then it would go away, so I'd go back to work. 2 years, a little over 2 years ago, I come home, and my pain management doctor, which is ironic, I seen that doctor in October, weeks after he stated that I stopped taking my medicine. He didn't know I was going to see that doctor. And that doctor had me do a urine test, which shows all my medications were in me the way they were supposed to be. So it's like, you know what I mean? It's just so blatant, the stuff he put in there. And I can only think of one reason why he would do that. I mean, hey, it's just not right. So anyways, I am seeing 2 other doctors. I've seen 4 to 5 surgeons in the past 2 years. All recommend surgery. But I mean, I'm at my whole mentality was I don't want to do surgery in my back unless I absolutely have to. But now with this latest issue, just started going numb. I got to be honest. I want to see the surgeons again, and I might consider doing surgery. I mean, depending on what they say. I've never had numbness in my legs, and now I can barely stand up for more than a minute, without having to sit down or I'll fall. But once again, I mean, I know I have to get new doctors. I'm really aggravated at what he put in that record where it shouldn't be there. You know what I mean? I'm not hiding anything. I'm not embellishing anything. I'm in some serious pain, and I have been continuously for 2 years.
So here's what I would say about the whole situation. You want to have diversity of medical opinions. So 20 years, one doctor, that's not a lot of diversity of medical opinion. You want to get on that so you can actually have, to be fair, somebody else give a shot at it. With that said, get them to fix it, get a physician statement, get an RFC form completed. And then also, to be straightforward with you, get a new PCP, because you've had a PCP for way too long. Start developing a relationship with somebody else that can also give you diversity of opinion, because I'm telling you, you don't do that, you're going to be in big trouble,
Right. Okay. All right. I appreciate everything that you do. I watch all your videos. You're a brilliant man. I appreciate everything
sir.
You do. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful night. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Oh, wonderful day. I said wonderful night because I normally do these at night. All right, let's get the next caller real quick. Here we go. We are waiting for the next caller to call in. With that said, I'm just checking out the comments real quick, see if there's any questions in there. I'm not seeing any questions in there. Slathering is glitching. I hope it's, is it okay? Let me know if it's okay. Here we go. All right, speaker is on. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. You're live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question? Go ahead.
I have a question about getting PTSD on SSDI. I understand you got to go to the hospital. How many times do you have to go to the hospital? Does it matter if they commit you or if you commit yourself? And what does that look like?
Well, I mean, you want to go to the hospital as much as you can, within reason, because they're looking for medical treatment notes. There's 2 types of levels, right? There's regular treatment, repetitive, scheduled, etc. And then there's crisis emergency medical treatment, which is basically where you're going to the hospital. They do look for every 3 to 6 months some sort of crisis medical treatment where you're in a hospital or behavioral facility or sanatorium, because they want to see that you are not stabilized on your medication, PCP, general, otherwise treatment, your medication, etc. So that shows them essentially that you're not in a good position where you could go forward and, handle things on your own, because when you're not stabilized, you're not going to be able to continuously work at a regular job full time. So bottom line is, 3 to 6 months, they're looking for an emergency room visit, and then they're looking for continuous repetitive medical treatment that is consistent with what your impairments would normally request or require, and that they are. Yeah.
What's the time period? Like, is it after 2 times, 3 times, 10 times?
For what? Being found disabled?
For going into the hospital, like after how many times of going in every 3 months would they consider that Is it just once, twice,
Well, remember, it
4
could be
times?
once. It could be once because, it could be something that's severe that's never going to change. It could be like blindness. It could be, something where the blindness is expected to go away. So they want to look at it over, let's say, a year's period, and they expect, 4 visits, right? So, I mean,
Well,
it
I mean for
depends.
PTSD.
For PTSD, they're usually looking for 3, inpatients, and then, of course, repetitive medical treatment from a psychologist, psychiatrist, or behavioralist. So a lot of people just get a master's level therapist, but that's not really what they're looking for. But they do want to see that inpatient stuff because that shows them basically inability to go ahead and function. The area where veterans usually fall, short on that whole situation is that they're going to the VA for mental assessment treatment, and the VA pays them their $4,700 check per month with their 100% PNT. And then as a result of that, it kind of puts them into a situation where they just kind of, they're never really at the severity level that the civilian benefits of SSDI expect. So they run into a lot of issues with that with their PTSD, which is ironic because you would expect like veterans to have this really, really bad PTSD in order for them to get, big money benefits from the VA. But from the SSA with the SSDI, which are a smaller amount of benefits, SSA actually has a higher standard and it's more culturally aggressive when trying to, see if somebody's disabled. So, for your PTSD, they're going to be expecting inpatient.
Okay. Thank you so much for answering my question. I've really enjoyed watching your show.
Thank you. You have a wonderful, wonderful day, okay?
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot, Disability Resolution PA. What is your legal question? Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was thinking about filing for a disability claim, and I'm getting advice from my mother and my wife at the same time. My wife's saying that I need to be on disability from work for a while before I file, and my mother is telling me to file right now.
No, you file
I was wondering
immediately.
which way is the best.
You file like right
Pardon?
now. Yeah. So because remember, it's going to take them a while to even get to your claim. So from, just from, a processing things perspective, you're going to want to go ahead and basically file immediately for SSDI benefits. In fact, the LTD carriers are always using a cattle prod to try and get people to be pushed to file sooner rather than later. So yeah, you need to immediately file for SSDI benefits if you expect that your impairments will last 12 months, have lasted 12 months, or end up being terminal.
So I didn't quite understand what that meant.
Today, tomorrow,
my-
file. Like go online today and file. Yeah.
Okay. Would it be best to get a lawyer before I get it all filed up?
I always
Or
recommend that
could-
people do that. I file with people, like I send them the forms, and I walk through the summary chart on what their answers were online before they submit them. You guys don't usually get in trouble with the initial filing stuff. Where you guys get in trouble is with the DDS forms, the SSA 3373, the 3369. Basically your supplemental pain, anxiety. Basically your forms about chronic this, or forms about headaches and stuff like that. That's when you make your statements about your limitations or your daily activities. That's where you guys really screw yourselves over, and that's the kind of shit that throws. It actually comes up in the brief of the denial from the judge. So yeah.
Okay. Should I get a local lawyer, or do you work in all the 50 states?
So we have clients in every state at this point. We work with claimants in every state, possession, and most of the continents at this point. You can get a local attorney, but the old adage that you want a local attorney for a local judge doesn't really work anymore because they're assigning judges from everywhere. And then of course there's that national hearing center, which is massive, that a lot of claimants get those judges as well. So you don't really get local judges like you used to. It's all, they're just trying to find any judge that they can slide your claim into at this point when you get to the hearing level, whoever's available kind of gig. And then basically from there, when you pick an attorney, the main thing you want to be able to know is, can you get a hold of the attorney? So what I always recommend is you call the law firm, and if the attorney gets back to you within 3 days, that's a good sign. Now, if the attorney asks you questions that are detailed and tries to figure out okay, where's this claim going, that's a good sign. But real quick, you have to understand there are certain limitations that the attorneys don't want: drugs, alcohol use, smokers, people under 50, people who are in and out of jail a lot, veterans. A lot of disability attorneys don't want those types of claimants because they're much harder to win.
None of those apply to me.
Okay, so then, yeah. I mean, so are you over 50, over 55, or over 60?
Over 60.
Okay, so are you 62, 63, 64? Are you in the retirement area, or are you like 60, 61?
62.
Okay, so at that point,
In the
most
past,
attorneys,
yes.
won't take that claim, because at any point you could file for retirement, and then there would be no benefits for the disability attorney to be able to attach to. So the bottom line is, just to be clear with this, most attorneys won't take that claim, because the moment you file for retirement benefits, there's no back pay benefits that the attorney can collect from.
I actually couldn't afford to retire at 65, so I was planning on waiting longer. But I'm having
Yeah, the only kicker is this:
definitely-
the moment you change your mind and you basically retire, what happens is the disability attorneys can't get paid from back pay, because those back pay months are getting sucked into a retirement check, and you're getting the full retirement check. Yeah.
Hang on, my wife has a question.
Yeah.
Walter,
Howdy, madam.
so this is why, sorry. Do attorneys ever do like a lump sum payment to help you with stuff instead of the percentage that they get on the back end?
So they used to do that way back in the day. We don't do it anymore, because it takes 2 or 3 years for the judges to approve the fees. So even when we get a payment, like, here's a chunk of money, here's $7,000 here, boop. It has to sit in a middle account, and then the judge has to approve it. And that takes like 2 to 3 years for them to even look at it and approve it, once the claimant basically usually goes through their adjudication. So we just don't do it anymore, because the system's too backed up. And it's just one of those things where it's a whole extra adjudication hassle on top of it, to try and constantly contact the clerk or the judge to actually get it through.
Oh, that's a bummer. So there's no way to get help with the initial filing.
In his situation, he's past the 61. He's now into the 62. So the bottom line is that in his situation, attorneys are not going to want to go ahead and take the claim, because, very simply put, at any point he could switch over, and then the attorney would not be able to get paid.
I'm like thinking, like, can you pay like an hourly rate for like an?
I mean, the thing that I do is,
like,
people can hire me for an hour, and then basically, like, I review stuff during that hour. A lot of people do that. It's about 2 weeks out per hour, but bottom line is, I do like an hour thing. So like, if you wanted to like get all his paperwork together, and then, hire me for a private hour, then I can always take a look at it, and then tell him what to do, and then you can go from there. Yeah.
Maybe that's the best thing then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this up back to my husband.
Sure.
Thank you for all your help. I guess I'll get the claims, gather that, try to start gathering my medical records, and I'll get back to you
Perfect.
for help on filling out the files, the claims.
Absolutely good, sir. You have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, though. Enjoy it, and hopefully it's warm where you're at.
It's not.
Oh.
It's not super cold.
Well, that's good. Hey, so excellent. Well, you have a wonderful day, okay?
You too. Thank you very much for your input.
Thank you, good sir. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question?
Yes, sir. I have it from the overpayment.
Sure.
And it's something, if you received some information regarding overpayments during March 2020 to April 2023. I did receive, they had said I have overpayments, but when I go on the website to try to, I see exactly when all this occurred and for how long. I really can't take mentions about a waiver. Do you know anything about this?
Yeah, 632 waiver. You got to call the SSA and ask for an accounting document where they outline specifically when the overpayment was claimed, each month, how much, yada, yada. And then obviously you're going to get an SSA 632 and fill in that information as to why you're requesting a waiver. And then if they do not approve that, then you can always use an SSA 561 to appeal it into the next level.
Okay. So I'll call them and ask them, and there is an 800 number. I guess they'll basically say I qualify and send me a waiver, or give me the documentations to figure it out for myself.
Well, no, you just get the documentation. They're not going to tell you whether you qualify before giving you the form. You get the form, you fill it out, but you want to get an accounting from them as to which month, they claim as an overpayment, because the SSA is really bad about giving you proper specifics when they claim an overpayment against you. Yeah.
Right, which is I'm having a hard time figuring that out. And secondly, I had previously gotten some wonderful, helpful advice from you, filing for SSDI, I believe, for my daughter, who is 30 and blind.
Sure.
And I am only 54 and don't have enough credits to file for my disability, but apparently she can on disability myself, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to make this a quick two-questioner, because I went online to start the application and was worried I was filling out there was an application online started on February 2nd, and if I don't finish it, she could lose her benefits, and this was all because I wasn't sure which form to fill out, because she previously was denied disability because she obviously didn't work at all. But it said to either appeal that, but that was April of last year.
So one of the things you want to go ahead and look at is the statute 404.911. Again, 404.911. So type into Google SSA 404.911 and start reading up on that, because that outlines what we use to extend the 60-day appealable area to basically increase it to whatever area we need to. Now, if it's more than a year and a half, they pretty much cut that away unless there's really something weird going on. But that's what's used to go ahead and appeal the claim when a claim wasn't properly appealed to begin with. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because the letter they sent me says regarding retirement, survivors, or disability insurance. So I'm assuming I was on the right path with the right form.
Indeed. Yeah, absolutely. So, but yeah,
definitely check into the waiver payback.
Yep, perfect.
On that settlement. That this isn't some kind of goofy mail that they just sent me.
Gotcha. Sorry, my phone is freezing for some reason. I'm not sure what the deal with it is. But I tell you what. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Okay.
You too. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Okay, now it's working. Is it working? I know. We're gonna try that. Hold on. Speaker came throughout this process. What is your legal question? Go ahead.
Yes, this is Country Girl. I started drawing disability late of 2011, and now that I've started, after I'm fixing to be 67, after I started drawing, I signed up for the widow's benefit when I turned 62. And so now when they set it up, Social Security, I asked them, she said, you don't have a work record for 2008. And I said, oh, yes, I do. I worked the whole year, and I filed my income tax. But the person that I worked for is passed away now. My question is, if they filed a bankruptcy for 2008, even though I was paid and filed taxes on it, did that knock out why Social Security is showing that I didn't work in 2008?
So you worked, paid taxes on that work with the IRS at the federal level, and you earned over the federal income level amount, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so then you should have, with your IRS records, work noted on their system and payment to go with it. So you should be okay.
But Social Security tells me, no, there is nothing filed on me in 2008, which now I'm divorced, so I can't get the original copy, but she's arguing me. I didn't quit my job until 2009.
What I would say is this: I would go to the IRS and get a copy of your earnings record, and I would also request, specifically from the IRS and or the SSA, a copy of your detailed earnings query and your certified earnings query, because those two documents will tell you in 2008 what was going on. So detailed earnings query and certified earnings query.
Okay, so if I can get this copy, because I know I filed and paid my taxes in 2008 from the IRS, will they go back and back pay me if I can prove that, yes, I did have earnings for 2008?
It's possible. It depends on a lot of details, but it is possible. You might need a brief written here or there, but it is possible. If they made a mistake and something was incorrect and they had the proper documentation and they improperly paid you, then you can request payment. But yeah, absolutely. If they screwed up the math, you can go after them, but you may have to, do some briefing,
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. You have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Okay.
You too.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. So real quick, Mark S. donated $10, which is awesome. Super thank you. I'm in Florida. I'm at a recon level. I know it's unlikely to be approved at reconsideration, but how long should reconsideration take? Florida right now for recon, it depends. If you're in like a speeded up category, it can be anywhere from like 6 to 12 months. If you're in like a terminal illness category, it's like 1 to 4 months. If you are regular category, it's taken about, I would say, 12 to 19 months, depending on how many people they have available, what part of Florida you're in, etc. So those are kind of your realistic amount of time frames for any particular area of Florida that you would be in. But thank you for the $10 donation. That is absolutely amazing. I super appreciate it. Let me go over here to the next caller. There's no additional callers. We are 27 minutes and 34 seconds. So we're going to count it down. If we don't have another caller within the next 10 seconds, then I'm going to go ahead and start working on other stuff. So we're going to start the countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's it. Okay, I'm going to go work on other stuff. I'm also going to have breakfast. I haven't had breakfast yet. I will catch you all a little bit later. You have a wonderful, amazing weekend. I hope wherever you are, it's warm. We will catch you a little bit later. Damn it. All right, hold on. We're going to do one more call. Hold on. Here we go. All right, here we go. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question? Go ahead.
Thanks for taking my call, Walter.
Yeah.
I'm here in Massachusetts. I'll be 62 in a few days, and I have an attorney that specializes in multiple sclerosis MS cases, and they did my paperwork filed on 13 months ago, and I have other disabilities too. But the question is here in Massachusetts, it seems to be take longer than most places in the country. And I love, President Trump and Elon Musk. They're a couple of great Americans, and I know that they're getting into the Social Security system. And I just didn't know if they were doing anything that was going to slow my case down any further than it has been. Right now, my wife is handling all the bills, and she doesn't make enough money to do that.
The thing that I think is going to slow down in the most immediate sense is that, the news just broke this morning about FBI agents that are being sent to different spots, and we're having fewer FBI agents. We're having a bunch sent to the 50 different whatever field offices. But I think what will potentially happen is they'll start moving people around a little bit, which means it'll slow down for a month period until they kind of get ramped up into their new position. But all in all, realistically, Elon being in the SSA has one really big positive impact that nobody's really talking about, which is that he can report back to Trump that the SSA is in, shit show mode with not enough employees. And as a result, he can then fight to go ahead and get more employees for the SSA. Now, Basically the people on the left will argue that he's just there to destroy the Social Security Administration, destroy the government, and eat the earth in total. And I try to give a little bit more of a middle, you know what I mean, as opposed to absolutely love him to absolutely hate him, going from like, religious prophet to every color of the rainbow hair sort of situation. So my whole thing is this. I think that Social Security isn't really going to get sped up or speed up, at least for the next 6 months, if he takes that emotional, ethical, moral turn to support the SSA. There's a lot of ways that he could screw over the.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
I heard Elon talk about that the other day. He was talking about caring people running parts of government, not what we have currently. I mean, we do have caring people, but there's a lot of other people that are out for other means.
Yeah. So, I mean, what I would say is this. I think that if there are things that are going to be slowing things down, yes, that exists. Yes, there's potential. Yes, there might be a problem, but everything's already so slow and shitty. It's like, I don't know. It just kind of feels like, another fluffy pancake on top of the stack. You know what I mean? It just, you know what I mean? I don't feel like, when you got like so much credit card debt, you're like, screw it. I'll just put another meal on there. Like, that's what the SSA feels like to me at this point. They're so far down the rabbit hole and just massive changes. But, the massive changes it needs, to be fair, are basically, number one, a lot more employees. Number two, an entire new internal system that works off of one OS. Basically, they need AI to do some lifting, because the bottom line is like, it's just, the amount of people required to go ahead and make this thing happen is just, it's a problem. But anyways, point is, I would say probably them sending different employees to different locations, reassigning them to tasks, that'll slow things down for a month. But if the reassignment works, it should speed it up a little bit after that.
All right, I just wanted to thank you again for all the good work you do. I've watched a number of different YouTube personalities, try to explain the SSDI, and they've all been like 80 to 70, 50, 60% wrong on their timeline estimations and the information they provide. They do it in a boring, complicated way, and you're very entertaining, and your numbers seem to be right on the mark when you say timelines and things like that.
Thank you. The only thing I was wrong on, and that's because I was fed it by a person who works for a politician, was when they were going to be paying the Social Security Fairness Act benefits to the police officers, sheriffs, the teachers, yada yada. And I was just fed bad info on that. And what I realized was that I don't think a lot of these politicians know what is going on with Social Security. In fact, I would even make a greater statement that a lot of these politicians quite literally don't even know what the programs are with the Social Security Administration, which is weird for me. I don't know. It's just like, you would think, like, if you ever ran for office, you would want to know some things, right? You want to know the IRS code. You want to know the SSA code. You want to know basically like how housing works. You'd want to know like that stuff, you'd want to know constitutional law.
I think our politicians kind of count on us and believe that we're, a bunch of, child-minded people that are easily manipulated and can, they just tell us what we want to hear, and that's the end of it as far as they go, most of them anyway.
Yeah. I honestly, okay, to be fair, I see a lot of politicians getting voted in who, they don't have a background in knowledge. So, it could be anything. It could be academia. It could be, it could be anything. If they don't have enough knowledge in how this stuff works, but it's mostly emotional slinging of phrases from the local impoverished community, and that gets them in. And what worries me about that is that those are the individuals, it's like, I don't know. Like, and here's a weird thing for me. I think we need to have classes for politicians, like, classes that are neutral, that are in the middle, that are just pure education on how economics work. Because I'm seeing a lot of,
You were talking a couple of months ago about every time they pass a bill to have a percentage of that thrown into the pot for, Americans. I forget how you worship.
Yeah.
I would take it one step further, is have a percentage of their own income thrown into the pot, their own government check. So if they want to spend our money, then they should ante up more themselves if they want to spend our money.
I agree. I mean, or it comes from their budget of money for their personnel, or I really like that though, because they have to have some skin in the game. Every time they want to spend money, it seems to just F us over a little bit. And I'm just at the point where I don't think a lot of Americans trust government. I mean, the religious prophets that think they are God, or they are literally the direct voice to God, or basically the multicolored rainbow hair. And the ironic thing is the last person I was with had lots of hair colors and stuff like that. But the point I'm getting at with this stretch from here to here, the problem we see is that they have this super faith in government and politicians, and specifically their fruit version of it, their vein of it. And the weird thing that I just see with all this is that you need both groups to create the future that we actually will have that works. But that's not how these people work. These people are slinging mud as hard as they can.
Yeah.
And it's just like, guys,
it's not like it used to be. We
Yeah.
used to have Tip O'Neill here from Massachusetts as
Yeah.
Speaker of the House, and he worked closely with Newt Gingrich
Yep.
to balance the budget back in the 80s or whenever it was. And they fought tooth and nail on the floor, but they did it honestly, and they did it with character, and you don't see much of that anymore these days.
But they also knew how economics works. Like, that's the thing. We don't have modern politicians with that background. I'm not trying to do like a Biden statement here, because obviously, he had mental decline while in office. But I mean, a lot of the new politicians coming in, they just don't have the education background, which is why I think, and now here's the counterpoint to that. I like that the impoverished individuals are creating politicians that they want, they vote in, all that stuff. But we need to make sure that they understand how economics work. A lot of them have no business experience where they've owned a business. A lot of them have never understood like how payroll works. They just don't know. And then we vote them into these positions and they're screaming these things. I'm like, that won't work. And so I guess from my perspective, I like where politics is going. It's getting away from rich, stuffy, whatever. But the problem is those people, they don't have knowledge, that they need. So.
Yeah, the Republican Party has swung way towards the middle with Donald Trump.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, the Democratic Party has just gone off the deep end to the left.
Yeah,
and Democrats got to bring it back. They're not what they used to be.
Well, I was just talking with an advisor about that, and I was saying, look, you guys, you're and then he was like, guys, and I was like, oh, here we go. But I said, look, you have to understand, when you sit there in Congress and you can't define what a woman is, and when you sit there in Congress and promote, and I said to him, can you explain to me in 3 sentences why you believe AOC became so popular? And he's like, well, she has great ideas, and she's this and this and this and this and this and this and yada yada. And I said, no. The reason she became so popular quickly is because there were a lot of men out there who could see themselves dating her. And there were a lot of women out there that, that liked that she basically was their voice. And the advisor was completely offended by that. And I was like, bro, that's how it works. That's what this is. So anyways, I don't know. I've gotten a lot of kickback from Democrats recently, and don't get me wrong. I'm in the middle of this stuff, but I've been trying to help both sides, because one side is in right now. We got to make sure they do a good job. And one side has to create future rules and regulations that create the spicy back and forth between the other side. You have to have both. So it's just been, but I've been, go ahead.
I was a Democrat my whole life.
Yeah.
I voted for, Bill Clinton, and that was the last time I voted for a Democrat. I would think it was Bill Clinton. Because after that, things kind of went off the deep end. But what was it? And I consider myself in the middle too. I was a business owner. I owned a manufacturing company for 20 years. Unfortunately, my disabilities put me in a position where my brain wasn't able to process all the complicated things that needed to be done to run a business and manufacture the high-end type of products that I made. And so I lost I don't know what my point is. I used to be a Democrat. That was my point.
Sure. I mean, look, here's the thing. Like, I think some of the things that we need politicians to have an understanding of what the Constitution is and why it is the way it is. Because if you don't have, it's like playing guitar. If you don't study the thing that created that lick or that song that you like, then you're never going to know where all the goodness came from and why it was the way it was and how you got to that polished, finished thing. So I think they need to have a better understanding of that. And then, of course, economics. Holy crap. We have a lot of new House reps that are coming in who it's not there. It's just not there, you know, and that scares me because, like, you have to have a degree.
The deficit,
you know,
the deficit. They don't understand what the deficit's going to do.
Yeah,
to our nation.
Yeah,
that, you know, this deficit that's growing, like, you know, it's a tumor that's out of control at this point, and it has to be. It has to be dealt with.
That's that degree of knowledge. Like when you own a business, that is an instant MBA right there. That will kick you in the butt, and you have to learn or else you die. And that's the tough part about it. That is the instant MBA creator, where you know exactly what you have to do to be able to survive. And a lot of these politicians that are coming in now, they don't have that. And what's a problem too is that the Democrats have young politicians that know how to create good sound bites, know how to scream the right thing, know how to promote rah, rah, rah. The problem is the Republicans tend to be financially smarter about stuff because they have a background in it, but they don't know how to create the sound bites. So what you're having is a group of Americans who are having a disconnect between, you know, the left side sounds really good, but it's not really on track with what the economy needs or is going to do, you know, screaming, we need 30 stimulus checks over here. And then the Republicans on the other side are going, well, this is how that'll affect it. This is the hyperinflation it will create. This was what will happen to the local stores soup, you know, cans, yada, yada. And what's happening is you have a disconnect between these two groups of people. And the main issue is just lack of education on the basics when it comes to the American people. And that's a tough thing. And that funnels its way.
They need to do a better. They need to do a better job messaging. And President Trump's son, I forget his name. He pushed President Trump to go down TikTok, which I thought was funny.
Yeah.
And you know, I think he's got to maybe take some more advice from his son on how to communicate with a younger generation in America. And I think that'll be a big help right there.
Yeah.
As far as explaining things.
Perfect. Well, good, sir. I've got to go ahead and work outside a little bit and keep rocking and rolling, but I will catch you later. You have a wonderful, wonderful day. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, Walter. I'll look forward to your next program.
Thank you, good sir. You have a wonderful day. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Perfect. So what we're going to do real quick is I'm going to end the video there. You have an absolutely amazing, amazing weekend. I will catch you a little bit later. I'm going to go have some breakfast. The doggies are right with me right over here, and we will catch up in the not too distant future. Please remember to like. Please remember to subscribe. Please head over to Google and type in Disability Resolution Law Firm or Disability Resolution Florida. Throw some stars up there. I absolutely love seeing those. And also, real quick detail, if you want to catch me on the live like this, Mondays and Thursdays are usually when I go live. And then, of course, if you want to do a 1 hour private session, I will be doing a 1 hour private session. The mini contract is below where you can ask me tough questions, send me stuff. And then during that hour, I'm all yours. So, and we do about an hour, 10 hour, 15 minutes. I will catch you a little bit later. You have a wonderful, wonderful day. And please stay safe. Thank you so much. And I'll catch you later. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.